Starting with pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Here. 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 Moving on to item number 1, minutes of the regular meeting held September 28th, 2022.
We read the meetings, the minutes, and make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye. I need to abstain, it wasn't here. Moving on to item number 2, committee reports.
President, there were no committee meetings to report on.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, general manager's report.
Let's keep this brief. As you know, we're about to kick off the air show, have some practice tomorrow, which the public's invited to participate in. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday. Been a lot of meetings. Here it is. We participated in the City of Santa Maria's Open Streets on October 8th. And it was, I would call it a complete success. It was awesome. And something I think we should definitely participate in the future, if not along with other events. It was, we took our old 1968 Ford F-250 fire truck out there, handed out treats for the kids, and played some, you can see in the hallway of our cornhole boards that we made up for them. It was a lot of fun. Great interaction with the community. Something else I had the chance to do, you all are aware of the Eco Alliance. They had a forum last week that talked about manufacturing here in the community. And that led to 2 tours I was able to take advantage of this week with Helicoid Cow and Atlas Cockcoat, which is also known as Moffy Trench. And you think you drive by these buildings all day long, and then you realize when you go inside all the awesome things they do, the international reach these buildings have, and they like the airport. So it was very insightful for me. I was very happy I was allowed to participate. So go ahead.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Moving on to item number 4, manager of finance and administration report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have provided the demand register for your review and approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Discussion? So looking at the demand register, we put 2 meetings on one, because we've got check dates of 9/27, then check dates of 10/11.
Yeah, it's typically, typically the demand register is done before the checks are issued. I mean, the last demand register you got, these checks were not issued. The demand register was done prior to the issue date, if that makes sense. But because we held off on doing the demand register this time, so you're getting not only more checks, but you're also getting ones that have not been previously approved. If you look at the asterisks by the check numbers, those checks have already been sent out.
So those are the previous ones.
Right, they are the.
That was the last
And
meeting.
they were not on the last demand register because we did the demand register before the 27th of September.
And then a couple, what's collective services? An ACH payment?
For, that is our, consultant,
For,
collective communications.
yes,
That's our consultant in Washington DC.
oh, okay, go okay, I just haven't seen that one before. Okay.
So I have a question as well.
Yeah.
So later down the line in the agenda, we have repayment of the airport for my messed up receipts, I'll call that. I see here that we have some director's fees that are going to be paid out to me coming up. I was wondering if that could be
Yes,
Yeah, we can do that.
yes,
So
Yes, we
let's go ahead and set that up.
okay. Okay, so we will hold on to that check and,
Then the other thing I was looking at, like, Vogel, we've got Frontier, we've got Verizon, we've got Comcast, we've got. Is there a way that we can take like our cell phones to like one provider?
we can look into that for you.
Their cell phones are on one provider.
Yeah, Verizon.
They're Verizon.
There's different comm systems for the operators and things in the terminals, so. But we can look into that and see if there's some
Because
opportunity.
I mean, we're using three different, Frontier, you have Comcast and then Verizon.
Yeah, they're all providing different services, but we can look into that.
I wonder if they can combine all into one, is just my question.
See, if there's, we'll look into doing that, and if we can't, then we'll provide you an explanation. Yeah.
Thank you with those changes, the motions.
We have first and second, so we're ready to.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 5. Oh, I'm sorry, was that it?
That would do it.
Moving on to item number 5, public session, statements from the floor will be heard during public session. Requests to speak forms are provided for those wishing to address the board. After completing the form, please give it to the clerk. Requests requiring board action will be referred to staff and brought on the next appropriate agenda. Members of the public are cordially invited to speak on agenda items as they occur. Staff reports covering agenda items are available for review in the offices of the general manager on the Tuesday prior to each meeting. The board will establish a time limit for receipt of testimony, in this case, 3 minutes. The board reserves the right to establish further time limits for receipt of testimony. I don't have any public session forms here, so I'll give people like. Looks like this is the one pull them out. Doesn't look like it. All right. So moving on to item number 6, presentation by Tom Windrow and John Smith regarding the return of U.S. Customs.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'm going to break this presentation. It'll be firstly brief and to the point. Break into 3 items. The first concerns the building where customs takes place, and we've had to do renovation. And John Smith, our engineer from Tartaglia, is not here, but Jim Albrecht from Rabat and Albrecht Engineers is here, and so he will give a briefing on where we are with the building, because without the building being in shape that needs to be with improvements, PDP cannot begin to recruit an agent to come and operate customs for us. The second thing we will discuss is customs and border protection, where they are at concerning working with the airport and considering us a trusted ally as they put themselves out online. We're one of the only airports of our size in America to receive a customs designation. And they pulled me aside last time we visited and let me know that we certainly had better not screw it up. So, and we won't. So, thirdly, there's marketing. One of the ways that we did run into problems, and I'll talk about it in marketing, the last time the airport had a customs designation was that you go back once again to the movie Field of Dreams, where Kevin Costner said, if you build it, they will come. Well, that's not true. They'll only build it, they'll build it. If you build it, they will come if you tell them about it. And no one told them about it back in 2009. Literally, no one knew about it other than Oprah, folks from Toyota Motor Corporation and Taiwan, a Beauty Baby thing. So it was like a speakeasy, that everybody liked, that the small group knew about it. And they loved to use it, but they didn't tell anybody. And that's why we only had 17 user fee landings or 19 the last time. So those are the kind of 3 segments here, but without further ado, I wanted to, Jim Albrecht was gracious enough to come on short notice because John Smith is in Cincinnati, and Jim's been a really good partner. He understands how important this is to the airport and the community and the general aviation community. But in the end, he's going to talk a little bit about where that building is, where it needs to be, and how quickly we're going to get there and get it done. So Jim, is that a good introduction?
Oh, very nice, yes.
Okay,
Hey, well, Tom,
feel free.
yeah, as Tom says, I'm kind of sitting in here.
Why don't you,
Yeah. Okay.
sure.
filling in here for John Smith tonight. John's been, kind of the point man on getting the building improvements, the engineering and site improvements and all the aspects of that portion of the project that we're, my firm is taking responsibility for the actual building improvements itself, from the design side. So, we started out with a pretty aggressive schedule to try and get this little building shaped up. We've had some scope creep, as we've gotten into it, and we've not been able to achieve the schedule we initially set out to, but, we are moving forward and, looking towards, getting our plan set back, to, the Customs and Border Patrol folks who have reviewed it twice now and are expecting their third review, which we will have for them early next week. There's been quite a bit accomplished in terms of the site improvements that John's been working on. We had to increase some of the safety features of the building after communication with the city building officials. Basically, the building was never really properly designed, even the last time, for the some of the activities that CBP has to do in terms of being able to hold people and basically lock them in the building. So it's a little bit of a specialty requirement, so we will have to have fire sprinklers and fire alarm that we hadn't anticipated initially. So that's under work. We'll be submitting the plan set to the building department of the city of Santa Maria, which we hadn't intended to do initially. But after their initial meeting that we had with them, they said, yeah, you really need a building permit and a permit to occupy. And you'd be best served to go through our process. And John agreed that that was the best process. So we are submitting to the city building next week also. So there's some stuff that the airport has done. They've done a survey of the roof, and John has put together a bid package for roofing repairs. The last winter found it was quite as good as it should be. So that work is going to be included in the bid package for the entire project. We have been working with the electronic security folks that handle all the airport access, Access Insight and Quinton. They have been a bit challenging. I think they're very busy. We have a little bit of trouble keeping communication with them, but we're starting to get there with all the information we need from them. So I think we'll be putting that package together here pretty quickly. We're also working on the U.S. Customs and Border Protection signage requirements. They had a little issue with giving us their standard. They'll get some paperwork in place before they can share that with us, but now that we have it, we can put their signage plan together and get that back to this. So Tom, unless there's something else, I think that's kind of the status of the project as it stands now.
Well, let's get more here, has any questions.
What's the timing issue on all this that we're talking about? We're in October the 12th.
Yeah, we are looking to submit this next week. We'll see when we get in the building department. Time frame is to get it turned around. They have been accelerating things quite a bit lately. They were very, very slow earlier this year, but their turnaround time is getting a lot better. I think Tom intends to work with the city also to make them aware of the importance of getting the project approved, and that, basically was not part of the original schedule, but deal with their agency. And so we'll see if they can put a little grease on the wheels for us.
So when do you think completion would be of this building?
Completion of the construction portion.
Yes.
We're looking at probably a 3 to 4 month construction period. So we're probably talking early in the year next year.
Well, we've targeted Q1 of 2024 to open. So some of these setbacks were unavoidable, just vis-a-vis CBP's requirements. I didn't fully know what lay in front of us with the improvement of the building. I think Martin's been very supportive in, I want to say thank you, in listening to the board and your vision of having it be a beautiful building, rather than we could have just gone about it and done bare bones, But I don't think that's what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to be a long-term player as far as an international destination. And so some of the things that we've done are upgrades to the facility that we wouldn't have necessarily chosen to do initially. But the building turned out to be in a greater state of disrepair than I knew of. My initial understanding of the building was that it was ready to go at that time before, but Martin, you say it's pretty, there's a little deteriorating.
At this point, I'd be happy if it just needs code.
Do we have any preliminary numbers on cost for, because when you say scope creep, I hear cost creep. So, do we have any just preliminary numbers on like how much it exceeded on the original budget it's gonna be?
I do not have those numbers. I think John has been kind of tracking that, but he doesn't share that with me at this point.
Question. I know for a while there was a at will arrangement with the Jet Coast or this Jet Center to use that as an additional fire tanker base, which is right now pretty active. Has any consideration been done sharing that building with fire people, or is it just totally going to be customs? And we have what I understand is only a 4-day open window for customs, and that means 3 days are closed. Is there any thought at all given on the operational side to still be able to use that for fires as well as customs, or is that going to just be customs only and even dead during those 3 days?
Well, actually, this month, I think when it goes to customs, that's actually a federal building now.
It would be leased to the federal
It's
government.
the federal government, so it's the
GSA.
federal government, that's that building.
And it is-
It's probably not.
It is a federal law enforcement
Yeah.
function. It's a secure building. A lot of these costs that are driving it is it needs to be more than just a building. It has to be very secure.
And their requirements have changed since the last time we had the building. They increased their requirements.
It's currently not leased, correct? We use.
You know, it is ours.
Yeah.
We have full control.
So
It's actually being used this weekend for
for the air.
for the Heritage Show. Yes.
Is there a way we can? Well,
So whatever can
Is
be
there a
done.
way we can speed it up instead of make it 3 or 4 months? Make it 1 or 2 months? It doesn't sound like it's a big building, what I've been listening to. It's not a big building. Well, I don't know why it'd take 4 months to put it together, just because when you think about it, and what we're talking about doing, it's just putting a delay on everything to get us to where we want to go. And getting this building out of the way, it doesn't seem like it would take us a quarter of a year to put together.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the construction process these days, but everything in construction is taking a long time in terms of procurement and obtaining materials and stuff like that. We would have to backtrack and probably downscope to speed it up and not do some of the interior finish stuff that we added to the scope to try and make it that high-end facility that would attract customers and make them happy that they want to come back and a higher level of finish and a higher level of customer service. So yeah, to speed it up, we would have to deprogram the project probably.
Another question. At one time, there was a request to upgrade the computer equipment that was being used for clearing the flights and stuff coming in. And is that included in the cost? And also, we had a car here for a long time before, after they got kicked out by a previous board. That car, is that still usable, or is this simply an additional item that we need to budget and have a nice new fancy car on?
That hasn't been brought up. He still have the car from the last time, and I'm not gonna bring it up.
Okay, all right.
As far as electronics and biometric security and other innovations that CBP requires, another factor is that some of those, a little bit of sort of what Jim is saying, some of those vendors providing some of this advanced security may have a delay in getting to the supply chain delay. So maybe not. So But what happens is once Jim and I'm gonna be there to support them through the city process and work with Martin aggressively to try to move this forward expeditiously. But once we know, have essentially roughly a target date, a launch date, that's when we tell CBP to start recruiting for the golden job, which apparently everyone down in Los Angeles really wants, is to move to Santa Maria. And that may be, to your point, it may be 4 10-hour days that they stay open, or it could be something different as far as configuration. It really depends upon what we think is effective. They recommended that, said it's worked at a number of airports, but we could do it differently.
So we're looking at 3 to 4 months for the build, correct? Correct, that's what you said. And then we still have to approve a bid, so that's. So I'm trying to actually get like the actual timeline of how long that is gonna be.
Martin, they've already used the budget for you to set them out. It could go in that because of the
Support.
Yeah, so we have a budget number, basically, that we back that number. And maybe we do have to have a de-scoping conversation for some things. But some of the improvements that need to be made are from water damage from this past winter, that are when water entered the building. So sometimes what we can't hand over a building has, water stains on the drywall.
Are those bids complete, John Smith's bid? Is he gonna be able to produce those to us soon?
Nothing's come out for actual contractor bids yet, it's all estimates at this point.
All estimates? Yeah. Yeah, we can get that sooner rather than later. Really.
So I reach out to John.
Yeah. I would say both Jim and John have been good partners in that, and they understand we have a sense of urgency here, we're ready to go. So, we had a good chat today, Jim gave us short notice, and we're gonna do everything we can to move this forward quickly. I know it's a board priority. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other questions?
I think the big holdup's gonna be the city.
Yeah.
Speed dial.
Gives us more time for marketing too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have good luck, but I'm inserting myself into that process. So, getting to the next point, the CBP, as the second part of the presentation, is that not only did Martin tell me about your experience with customs before and kind of, and with, FBOs, kind of the upscale, which is driven, I think, a little bit the vision of this building being excellent, being comfortable. It's not gonna be the Taj Mahal, but it's gonna be really nice. And it should be. CBP also has an offhand utility that they would like it to be very nice. They want to be proud. They're expanding their footprint here. And they'll be coming in November to visit with us. And they'll be bringing their report director, Cheryl Davies, and an entourage of CBP officials, usually driving Dodge Chargers and wearing outfitted with their weaponry, courtesy of the United States, the Customs and Border Protection. And they're great people. They're great people. And I hope when we have that meeting that some board members can attend. They want to forge a long-term relationship, and they're interested in this for a lot of reasons. And not the least of them, decongesting Los Angeles International Airport and which currently are experiencing really high levels of traffic. If they can pull 300 or 400 flights off a year and have them go through Santa Maria, they'd be thrilled. So they've been a great partner, and they are as eager for us to be as successful as we are. So, if you have any questions about our relationship with government, I think it's strong. Martin, do you have anything to add to that as far as? Okay. Finally, and it gets back to my quote that from Field of Dreams, which Carrie informed me wasn't exactly correct. What is my quote?
We built it, we will come.
Thank you.
Yeah, can make it modern.
Huh?
They get it right. Fair enough. So you have in your hands, I fly off to Las Vegas on Monday for a week of walking the floor at National Business Aviation Association Convention. If you haven't been there, it's an extraordinary place. They have over 4,000 members across the country, and you'll see Honda jets, mini jets inside this massive, if you've been to Las Vegas Convention Center, it's really, it's bustling with activity. It'll have owners of corporate jets, private jets, charter jets. These are our customers, flight planners, flight dispatchers, and pilots. And what I was spent a long time figuring out was, how do I connect with them? Is it handing them a jar of San Luis spices? Trying to, what do I do to make an impression? And of course, I veered away from that. And I partnered with a marketing firm that I worked with before, really great, innovative folks, who created this, which I think will only go to people who fly internationally and clear customs at Los Angeles International or at Van Nuys, anywhere in the SoCal Basin, or it could be even down in San Diego or Brownfield. So it opens, it has a great video. We've got our colors, our website will be following kind of this look and feel, and we'll have, in addition, a robust social media campaign as well that will follow on the heels of this. In the end, we're looking for about, I would say, 50, let's say 50 great customers, okay, that are gonna fly multiple times because they're gonna love it. So this isn't, we're not trying to get 1,000, we're not trying to get 500. We're trying to build ourselves towards something akin to Palm Springs traffic, which is about 300 to 400 flights a year. And Dave, you've had a vision of this a long time ago. You've been a great supporter. Michael, the rest of the board, Steve, all of you guys have seen that the airport needs to be used. Apparently, the world of general aviation, I think, agrees, as does Customs and Border Protection. So I'm going to do everything I can to evangelize about it and have great marketing materials as well, stuff that we can be proud of. Jim and John are going to focus on building and make sure that that it's going to be superb, and CBP is going to be a proud partner with us. So, if you have any questions, hey,
I have an additional question. What's the status, because of the required handling of any food, half-eaten sandwich that comes in on aircraft, to come in from Canada or any other, and that food is treated as hazmat, and it has to be cooked. I've been up a potato cooker that was set up to do. Is that facility still okay? Because this comes under not CDP rules, but under the
part of that.
so the food use. And has any consideration or any effort been done to make sure that that facility that was be able to handle these things in a secure container that's taken from the aircraft that lands and take it downtown and cook it to higher levels than the hazard waste that comes out of hospitals? Is that still available, or are we going to create a new deal because nobody can land here until that food, excess food or leftover food processing facility is working? That's my understanding of the rules.
Director Basket, you're correct that when people bring a sandwich from Mexico, the Far East, or Canada, that it can't come into the United States. So for fear of pathogens and anything that would be associated with that could, be contagious or whatever it is, and that has to be taken care of. The Department of Agriculture requires that. So they let me know at CBP that I could work on that kind of simultaneously with the rest of the stuff we're working on. So it didn't seem to get in the way of our approval. They just said it's ministerial, but I do have to find out. I do have to follow up on it.
Give me a call later, because I've had some history with that, and I'm aware of what the situation was some time ago, and it may be a chance to recover that, or maybe you have to do something totally new with this airport.
I'll look into that and I'll give you a call for sure. I appreciate the support.
I didn't know what your genre was supposed to be, but Tom, but I guess you're the customs ambassador. Please, customs ambassador, please help us with this. I think we can let's do this.
we're full speed ahead, as I'm going to be the ambassador, but it's probably going to have. But I would say, no matter what, someone needs to have at least people, and then we need to build a relationship with them.
That's why I'm hoping we get that building built so we can get to the next level.
We're on. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
There you go. Any further questions before we look? Moving on to item number 7, authorization for the president to execute a supplemental lease agreement between the district and the United States of America to amend the memorandum of agreement for the Federal Aviation Administration facilities within the airport premises.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sure you're all aware, we have various pieces of FAA equipment that are located on the airport. We have a no-cost agreement with them that we provide them a safe place to place it at no cost. And they operate and maintain it, and our users gain all the benefits of those various pieces of equipment. So this is very much a routine 5-year process. We go through, verify that all their equipment is where they say it is. And that we're on agreement that we're going to continue having navaids here provided by the federal government. It's that simple.
In that case, even though I had not been able to read through the details of it like I like to do, I make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 8, authorization for the general manager to execute the outdoor advertising agreement between the district and Lombardi Associates for the billboard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sure you're aware that we have a billboard that we use on Highway 101. It's on the east side of the highway facing the northern approach into the city. And Lombardi's provided us with a proposal for the continued, to allow us to continue to use that billboard to place advertising. And the amounts are as presented here. It's for roughly a 13-month period at a cost of $48,750.
I agree. I think this should go into discussion and direction, trying to figure out what else we can do, because this is, I mean, it's an old medium and it's very expensive.
There's no need for it right now because we don't have anything to put on that billboard to say right now, so.
The one thing you may be doing may be risky not being.
It will go out to bid to replace it with something else. So now is the time, if you want us to take some direction, I recommend you give us that direction.
Do we want to spend almost $50,000 just to keep the seat? Right?
It's basically
That's
per year.
Per year? Per year? 50,000 just to keep the seat, I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. That with that, we could probably get a contractor to do like social media or newsletters and stuff like that, like just that's a good amount of money a year. So I think we should discuss and figure out different ways to better use our marketing budget than a billboard, than one billboard.
I think
That doesn't mean
most of you spend that money somewhere else and they have a lot more for it.
Comment here, are you, part of the first approval group to get that up in there, and then come down Highway 101, and I'm very disappointed in it, and I no longer believe it's valuable.
So your action on this item?
My big action is we want to approve this and we should discuss in another time to figure out what we can do.
Yeah, this is totally.
So your action would be from one of your board members, with the second would be to not execute this agreement.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 9, authorization for tuition reimbursement for one staff member.
Thank you, Mr. President. Carla Osborne, our operations officer, has completed 2 courses and is requesting reimbursement for
I'll make a motion that we reimburse her.
I'll second that. She's holding up good grades, and I think it's important to keep our staff and executives at the airport up to date on fresh schooling and additional schooling and improving their value to the airport by education.
All in favor? Authorization for the president and secretary to execute the 17th Amendment for the service agreement between the district and Raymond L. Keith for consulting services.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just an extension of Mr. Heath's contract.
How much do we actually utilize?
A lot.
Quite a bit. See him a lot.
He, yes, and he has a lot of institutional knowledge. He actually is assisting us right now with a couple of things that, we need to correct, and he's the one that brought it to our attention.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And what's it do? What is he doing?
Yeah, I think by the bronze, the district, and,
He works with the maintenance department.
right.
He's a former full-time employee that's now retired. Bring him in when we need institutional knowledge about how things, where they're at. He finds the bodies, so to speak.
I can weigh too, not that it's been a lot, but you know, from time to time, he's also been a valuable resource for legal counsel when certain things come up and we need to locate historical items and get some information out. He's got a lot of information. He predates everyone in the room as far as what's going on here.
Very well, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 11, discussion and direction for district reimbursement for expenses incurred without receipt for EA Airventure and the UAS counterstone companies.
Thank you, Mr. President. I provided the board with the amount that we do not have receipts for, and I think we've already resolved that issue during the demand register, but President Moreno has agreed to give us back our check for his board director fee. So that will take care of it. Maybe not with this check, but with we will take care of it through that.
I think if it's doing that, we're going to need to discuss that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Moving on to closed session, and we'll go straight to closed session, actually. So, thank you everyone for being here. For the first half, thank you everyone for being here for the first half. We come out of closed session with no reportable actions. Welcome back, everyone. Moving on to item number 13, director's comments. We can start with Mr. Bessie.
The last hangar that were built at this airport 19 years ago, they were owner-built hangars. The airport had previous hangars built, and some good and some not so good. And we've had now interest in putting phase 2 owner-built hangars. People ready to write checks and would like to see that move ahead. I know that there may be a difference of opinion in having somebody come in, lease land and build hangars and rent them out. But I believe that's going to take a long, long time. And I think we should volunteer, since I've done a lot of spade work, volunteer, or someone else can volunteer, work with me, and staff, and let's get owner-built hangars going. That results in the pin hangars, $2.5 million of outside investment in the airport assets. Eventually become the airport and get built with little cost, little must. And I'd like to see it move ahead. And we have that on the agenda, and move ahead to the next agenda. What do you got?
I can't wait for the next air show to come around this weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun. No other comment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the air show. I had a blast at Open Streets, and I'm looking forward to more community engagement and involvement activities at the airport.
Just looking forward to the air show. That'd be fun. Air show could be great.
A couple things I've got, one is, we need to get the cities lead to them. Okay, and the gas tank out here, the 100 low lead tank is we're going to lose that from Russ. And I think the responsibility falls on Typical Coast Jet to maintain it, if I'm not mistaken. If not, we need to get it maintained, because otherwise that rust is gonna be gone. I bought that tank originally, I know what it cost, and I know things have just gone up. But that tank is gonna get destroyed from rust if it doesn't get through and dealt with. What I've been.
Make a motion to dismiss.
Second.
All there?
Aye.
Mike?
Would you three please come to my office at the